Good afternoon, everyone. I'm here with Jesus to speak to you about our stewardship season. Jesus, you presented to me several questions, and I wrote them down so I wouldn't forget. But one of your questions was what brought us to Holy Trinity, and when did we come?
That's right.
That was almost 10 years ago, in March of 2011. I had just retired after many years in the financial industry as my secular occupation. We had spent 13 years as active members of a very large urban parish. But there are times when the Spirit speaks to you, and although we were very happy there, it was time to move. And so, because we live in Covina, we came to Holy Trinity. The rector here at that time was in the final year and a half of her tenure as rector, and the place was very warm and receiving us. And in talking to the rector, one of the things she said to me is that Holy Trinity can't offer you the programs of the church from which you just came. And I said, that's not why we are here. We are here to give what we can to this place, because in turn we will receive 100-fold over that. Originally, we had intended to do this little interview in front of the fountain in the Memorial Garden, because those things represent for us the Memorial Fountain. Without the water flowing through it, it is a pile of rocks. But with that water coming through and flowing through it, it makes a beautiful sound and a beautiful presentation. The Memorial Garden itself, without planting and tending, it would be a barren piece of land between two buildings. But with the tending and the planting, it has become a wonderful place of refuge and also a place of final resting for many of our wonderful members. Your other question was also, what things have we done here? Well, I have been involved in virtually everything. When the tidings was in paper form, we had a once-a-month folding of the tidings. I served as a lector, I served as a lem, I served on the vestry, on the Bible study committee. And then at one point, Mother Judy, who knew that I was a priest ordained in another section of the wider Catholic communion, suggested that I might wish to restore my activity as a priest, and perhaps I should approach the bishop. She, as I said, was in the final months of her ministry here, and I did not know what the priest following her might wish to use me for. So I waited. When the interim priest came in, that was his first suggestion. If you wish to return to ministry as a priest, let's approach the bishop and we'll take care of that. And a side message is never apply for anything from the diocese during the summer, because everyone goes away, and the many people that must handle a petition such as that also go away, and so it takes twice as long to process. But in October of 2013, I resumed my ministry as a priest in this church. Went from the pew one Sunday into the altar and pulpit the next week, and have served in that position. So what about giving to this place? We have, from the very beginning, felt this was a place not only to pledge our financial support, but to give all that we can of whatever talents that we have to this place. Because as we give, we have received so much here. As I told the Capilla congregation this morning, some people think that stewardship is only about money, but it is, as the prayer we recite sometimes at the offertory, it is everything that we have that we should bring not only to the altar but to this community. because it is in doing so that we enrich one another with our experiences, with our talents, and with our finances. And this is my offer to you, is in the coming year, God is generous with us in so many ways, in our blessings and the blessings of this place. He has sent us a good rector. He has sent us good administration in this parish, and a willing and joyful people to continue the work. We've been through some strange times, and I have experienced some strange times here in this place also, but they have been learning experiences, and I have received more than we ever have given. We have pledged and turned in our pledge for this coming year, and we trust that you will do so also, because it is in giving that we receive. Thank you so much.
Greetings, friends. It's so wonderful to be with you and to have this opportunity to talk about stewardship. I think it's really remarkable that we're talking about stewardship in this time of cultural and social isolation, because stewardship is a way of bringing people together, and we certainly need that in this time of pandemic. We need anything that we can get a hold of that makes us feel like we're a part of something. And of course, you are a part of something. You are a part of the family of Holy Trinity Episcopal Church. And what a wonderful family it is. I'm struck by the theme of this year. Perhaps you've seen the poster. It's a poster of beautiful green foliage. Now, isn't that remarkable all by itself? Beautiful green foliage in the fall. Green foliage makes us think of springtime. But yet, the background for this year's stewardship campaign is the green foliage of new hope and new growth. And the theme is faith-filled generosity. Oh my goodness, what a wonderful image, faith-filled generosity. When I think of Holy Trinity, naturally I think of the beautiful building. I mean, it is a magnificent building, and I think of the organ and all of the wonderful experiences we have in worship. But more than that, I think of the love that holds us together as a parish family. It is a generosity of love that I think is reflected in this year's theme. Perhaps you've seen the poster. The poster is a background of beautiful green foliage. Well, we normally think of green as in the springtime, and here we are in the fall, but I think it's very fitting that in this time of great hardship with the COVID pandemic, it's hard for all of us, that we have the courage to think of new growth, of new life, green foliage blossoming and blooming, with the words attached to it of faith-filled generosity. Isn't that the image that comes to us, of course, when we think of God's love and what holds us together, this theme of faith-filled generosity. It is a source of growth. It is a source of new life. It is a source of energy that holds us all together. And I think what I've been talking about, without using the word, is the word stewardship. Stewardship is a faith-filled generosity. It is a word of courage, of course, you know, stewardship. It's much more than just money. It's about believing that we have the resources to invest that will result in growth, new life, a faith-filled generosity that produces the energy of love and togetherness that gives us the courage to live through these days. So I encourage you, when you think of stewardship for Holy Trinity this year, I encourage you to think of new life, of faith-filled generosity. And I pray that you would give deeply, not only of your financial reserves, but equally as important, give from the depth of your heart. Give love, give service, give compassion. And together we will live out this motto of faith-filled generosity. We will be a people of generous love. Thank you all, and God bless you.
Why do I pledge to Holy Trinity? I am Belinda Benice, the senior warden at Holy Trinity. My family and I have regularly attended Holy Trinity since 2013. This is my second year as senior warden. We love attending Holy Trinity because of the wonderful and friendly people. We love Father Steve, our rector. His energy and love for Holy Trinity is contagious. He is always coming up with fun and spiritual activities for the seasons. We are also lucky to have two assisting priests, Father Bill and Father G. Have you seen our church grounds lately? They are breathtaking. Our beautiful historical church, the peaceful memorial courtyard, the intimate and spiritual Lady Chapel that is going through an artistic transformation, and our newly remodeled parish hall and kitchen. Holy Trinity is a place for all. Besides our services in English, we also have services in Spanish. We are a spiritual and culturally rich church. We hold many special services throughout the year and regular services with our lovely choir and talented, dedicated choir director and organist. We have guitarist with a lovely voice that sings in Spanish. If you like quality music, this is the place for you. We have many ministries that service our communities and parishioners. 2020 has been an unusual year, to say the least, but we are pulling through because of your pledges and dedicated parishioners. Why do I pledge and keep my pledge current? Because I love Holy Trinity, and I want our doors to stay open to continue to do God's work. ¿Por qué me comprometo con la Santísima Trinidad? Hola, soy Belinda Peniche, la alcaide mayor de Holy Trinity, o sea, la Santísima Trinidad. Mi familia ha asistido regularmente a la Santísima Trinidad desde 2013. Este es mi segundo año como su alcaide mayor. Asistimos a Holy Trinity por la gente maravillosa y amable. Amamos al Padre Steve, nuestro rector. Su energía y amor por la Santísima Trinidad son siempre se le ocurren actividades divertidas y espirituales para las distintas épocas. También tenemos la suerte de contar con dos sacerdotes asistentes, el Padre Bill y el Padre G. Las instalaciones de nuestra iglesia son impresionantes. Nuestra hermosa iglesia histórica, la tranquilidad de nuestro patio, la intimidad y espiritualidad de la capilla de Nuestra Señora de Guadalupe, que está pasando por una renovación artística, y nuestro salón parroquial y cocina recientemente remodelados. La Santísima Trinidad es un lugar para todos. Además de nuestros servicios en inglés, también contamos con servicios en español. Somos una iglesia rica en espiritualidad y celebramos muchos servicios especiales durante todo el año y servicios regulares con nuestro coro encantador y nuestro talentoso y dedicado director del coro y organista. También tenemos un guitarrista con una hermosa voz que canta en español. Si te gusta la música de calidad, este es el lugar para ti. Tenemos muchos ministerios que sirven a nuestra comunidad y feligreses. El 2020 ha sido un año inusual, por decir por lo menos. Pero estamos saliendo adelante debido a sus promesas y feligreses. Porque me comprometo y mantengo mi compromiso. Porque amo a Holy Trinity y quiero que nuestras puertas permanezcan abiertas para continuar haciendo la obra de Dios.
Hello, how are you today? put your mask down for this, Dave.
There.
I'd like to introduce you. This is Dave Clark, our junior warden, and he's going to say a few words and ask a few questions. So how are you today?
I'm doing fine.
Good.
It's almost Friday. It's the day after hump day, so
Perfect.
we're doing good.
Right. Well, I'm going to ask you a few questions, Dave. Tell all of us, what brought you here to Holy Trinity? When did you come?
Well, I came in around 2006, shortly after I met my wife, Melinda, who's been a lifelong Episcopalian. Yeah, she went to St. Martha's and then later came up here to Holy Trinity and has been here ever since. And yeah, we got married in 2009, July 4th. And yeah, when Mother Judy was rector here. So yeah, that was a blessed event. And been here ever since.
Good. Yeah, wonderful sermons she gave. I remember her.
Oh yeah.
Now, tell us, what is it about Holy Trinity that kept you coming? Why do you stay here? What do you like the best about the church?
Well, it's serving the people here, helping, because, we don't have, a lot of people here. Yeah, it's not like every seat in the pews are filled. But, the church as a whole, people need to come and help when they can. And I've seen that need. And in the back of my mind, see a need and meet it.
That's true. That's true. I think that's very true. Now, with this word, stewardship, and we're on our stewardship campaign right now, and this word pledge, I mean, we can think of all things, from PBS to being stewards on a plane, at least I do. But I would like you to explain to us what it is to you and what it means and how specifically you think we need it. Being junior warden, I think it's very important.
Okay, being junior warden, I'm in charge of overseeing the maintenance here at the church, the church grounds, the landscaping, the replacing the lights, and to keep things repaired. And where I can't do it, then we have somebody come in, a plumber or a carpenter or a gardener to do the grounds maintenance and keep the church looking nice and green and trimmed on the outside. That all takes money. And when the church doesn't have money coming in from pledges, then we have to decide what needs to be fixed and what can wait. And it would be nice to have everything in tip-top shape, but it takes money. It takes money, it takes pledges to keep Father Steve employed. It takes money to keep you, Jesus, employed.
Yes, thank you.
It takes money. It takes money for the organ, for the music.
That's right.
And it takes money to keep, to put on the special events and to keep things repaired from the junior warden's standpoint. So it helps to have funding coming in when at all possible. And during this pandemic, that's hard, but it's doable.
And I appreciate that point of view. I'm glad that you brought it up because I agree. We have to have our building maintained, and certainly we want to keep our rector, your parish administrator, i.e. myself, and our organ player and music director, Vernon Schneider. So thank you, Dave. I appreciate your time. I appreciate what you do, and thanks for sharing.
You're welcome. Enjoy the day.
And you. Bye. Well, here we have Harry Thomas, who's a member of our vestry. Say hello.
Hello there.
I'd like to ask you a few questions if you don't mind.
Sure. Fire away.
Great. If you could tell me, what brought you here to Holy Trinity Church? When was that?
That was in 2016, shortly after we moved Peggy down here to our apartment in Azusa. We moved her down from Reno, and she's been Episcopalian, and I've been Episcopalian all my life, although we did not practice because we were always busy. My folks had a they owned their own business that was a 7-day-a-week business, so basically we didn't go to church, but we did believe, and we said our prayers. So anyway, when we got down here, we started looking for Episcopal churches in the area. We went to another church, and it was okay. Peggy here, we looked in the area for Episcopal churches, because she wanted to go to church, and so did I. It was time. And we went to another church in the area, and it was okay. But we weren't super impressed, but they were just happy to have us. So then we came here, and we loved the building. It's a beautiful church. And we just felt more at home here. But we went back to the other place, and they treated us like we'd never been there before. So Peggy and I decided we'd come back here. So that was the second time back here. People says, hey, good to see you again, and recognize the fact that we were here, and we just felt that there was more of what we were looking for here. So that's why we're here.
Perfect. And in a way, that's what also keeps you here, because we have this kind of family that we all check in on each other once in a while. And
well, that's true. This church family feels like a second family to us. They've always been nice. When something needs to be done, people pull together and get it done, whether it's a potluck or whether it's fixing the flowers out in front, which we help with. People step up. And sometimes that's not always the case with a large group. So that's what keeps us here, just basically the people and the friendship and the fellowship.
we're happy to have you. We're glad to have you both.
Thank you.
And tell me about stewardship and pledging. What does that mean to you? Why does one do that?
Well, it's just important, number one. But the whole thing is that any organization, your own house, you need funds to keep operating. Keep the lights on, keep the water running, keep the trash going. And this is no different. We have a big ministry here. We're a large-ish church in an area. There's a lot of need out there, and we have to have the funds so that we can provide to the community. And I made an analogy the other night on the vestry meeting. When you get on an airplane, they tell you that if the oxygen masks drop down, put yours on first. You put yours on first because if you're not well, you can't help the person next to you. And the same thing here. If we're not well as a church, then we can't do our ministries in the area. So it's important, and it's just part of what we're supposed to be doing anyway. And right now, during this pandemic, some people have not been able to keep up with their pledges, and so we can help. We need whatever help they can deliver to us so that we can minister to the community and be the church that we're supposed to be.
Brilliant. I like that analogy. I use it from time to time too.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for everything you do.
Thank you. Thank you for all your help and getting us squared away here with our paperwork.
We try. Thank you, Harry. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Kathy Slimak, and I've been a member of this church since I was 12 years old, which is approximately 61 years. I've seen ups and downs and young and old, and I've been around for a long time. I'd like to take this opportunity to share with you that I am the proud brand new member of Vestry, and I've been involved with the children's ministries for over 30 years. So I have been plugged into this church and been around for a little while. I really encourage every single one of you to remember who we are as a family. That's what this church is all about. That's what it was about when I was 12 years old. It's what it's about when I'm 73 years old. We care about each other. We care about this building. We care about this facility. This is our family. This is our home. Due to the pandemic, we have certainly had a lot to deal with personally, and also the church has had a lot to deal with. I know that there have been times in my life when I have been in very dire financial ways. There was a time when I lost my job, lost my house, and when my car became defunct, I could not repair it, nor could I replace it, and I walked for a long, long, long time. So I understand when financial adversity hits. I also understand that we help one another. One of the things that we do at this church is we tithe, and we make donations every week when we come to church, or every month, whatever feels good for you. We do this. When it was a time when I had no money, I would put in a handful of change, $1 or $2 a week. That's all I had. I am not the deep pocket in this church by any stretch of the imagination, but I traditionally, when I fill out my stewardship form, I write down an amount that I feel that I would still be able to pay even if I no longer work. And there will be a day, hopefully, that I don't have to be working. And then I turn around and I double that figure because I still do have a job. This year, when I put in my pledge, I doubled what I am putting in anyhow, plus when the time comes and I'm putting the money in the envelope, I am going to double that figure because I feel that that's what I need to do to help out. We need to have everyone help and participate. We are struggling here at the church, and I understand again, we are in a bad financial situation across the nation, and it has affected all of us in different ways. But please, please try to remember that not only does this church have bills, not only do we have staff that needs to be paid because that is what their job is, but we have family members in our church that need financial help. And that's part of where our money is going to help out. When Father Steve has a family that is on the outs and has no money, has no place to live, has no food, that's what our job is as a family, as a church. We're going to help these people. And if any of us can do that, now is the time to please do that. If you're behind in pledges, please try to catch up as best you can. If you are on top of your pledges, try to throw in a couple of extra dollars if you can. I hate to be the advertisement that's begging for money, but that's what we need to do right now, is beg for money. Consider this our church telethon. Please help us out financially so that we can continue to be the organization, the church, and the family we have always been. Thank you, and bless all of you.
Hi, I'm Nancy Pinnell. I'm a member of the vestry here at Holy Trinity. You probably know me best from our bingo nights and for trying to get those organized. Sadly, we didn't get to have bingo this year because of the pandemic, but we still tried to raise funds for our children's ministry and for our music ministry. Anyway, so I was asked what I think stewardship is about. And I think stewardship is about joy. And I kind of relate that to loving one another. When we truly love and care about someone, there's no limits to how much we're willing to do for them, how much we give up maybe of our time, our personal wants, our money, and even sometimes giving up our dreams for theirs when we really love someone. And we do all of this willingly out of genuine love. And for me, it's the same with stewardship. It's about my gratitude for Christ's love and his blessings in my life. And the response I feel in my heart is joy. And this joy touches every part of me and inspires me to share my blessings in the spirit of grateful service. So I willingly give up my time, my meager talents, my caring, and my donations to Holy Trinity as much as I am able. Thinking about Bible study the other day, while trying to find Ephesians for Father Gene's Thursday Bible study, I happened to flip to 2 Corinthians 8 and 9. And I tell you, nothing ever happens by chance. I was amazed. As you are considering your stewardship for Holy Trinity, both financially and through your service and your support when we have events and activities, this might give you some help also in making your decisions. So if you haven't checked out 2 Corinthians lately, look at chapter 8 and 9. Anyway, I just wanted to say it makes your own life joyful in what you can do for others. So I hope you'll think about your pledge and think about how much joy you find here at Holy Trinity. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Ann Michelson. My mother was drawn into the Episcopal Church by its music. As a young adult working in Washington, D.C., she chose the Episcopal Church because of the music. Soon after joining, the people, clergy, and spiritual support made her a lifelong Episcopalian. My mother could not sing or play an instrument, but for her, music provided a very important spiritual connection to our Lord. It must be in my genes because I feel the same way. I didn't get any genes related to singing, but I did somehow have limited success in instrumental music in spite of her, or maybe because of her love of music. We are so fortunate at Holy Trinity not only to have a priest who is an accomplished opera singer, but a musical director, Dr. Vernon, who is an amazing organist, choir director, and musician. He provides a beautiful array of liturgical music, and he prepares a number of musical programs in addition to the regular services that greatly enrich our lives. Holy Trinity embodies the spiritual needs I have. In addition to the wonderful music, Holy Trinity provides a supportive environment of inclusiveness, forgiveness, acceptance, and spiritual guidance. And above all, the focus at Holy Trinity remains on God, listening and acting on his message. A real important aspect of our mission as a church is reaching out to our youth. Among Father Steve's many talents is connecting with young people. This connection is made up of respect and positive communications, including active listening skills. As a retired public school teacher and principal, I am so impressed with his ability to engage young people, encouraging them to participate in the service and the enthusiasm he instigates in Vacation Bible School. This process starts with choosing a topic that kids can relate to, then providing activities that engage and inspire the kids. These last 6 months have been a challenge for all of us in multiple ways. We pray for those who have lost loved ones or been affected by illness. But there are even more ways that many of us have suffered. Losing our jobs, being isolated from family and friends, etc. So it is even more important to me and many others that we keep our spiritual connection with our Lord. Holy Trinity has stepped up to support those needs, providing in-person worship with all recommended safety measures and online worship. Many other normal church activities have been altered at best with the help of Zoom or otherwise limited. But we all pray that we are healing medically and spiritually, and we are looking forward to a time when we can all be in an environment where we feel more connected to each other. But in the meantime, God is there for us, regardless of the circumstances. Our church, like so many of us, have been affected financially by the pandemic. Our financial and spiritual foundations are strong, and we pray to God to weather this storm to continue to be strong in all respects. Our parishioners, with God's help, are critical to keeping us strong. I encourage all to pray and listen to God about the gifts, no matter how small, that each of us can use to contribute to our church's health. Pledges or single-time contributions are obviously effective ways, but in the current circumstances, those may not be appropriate ways for all. Volunteering, even from a social distance or from home, would be another way. Contacting any of the clergy or parish administrator would be a great way to start. We are very lucky at Holy Trinity to have 3 priests, Father Steve, Father Bill, and Father Gene, whose talents complement each other. So please feel free to reach out to any of them to support your own needs or to seek out opportunities to support our church. Thank you.
Hello, how are you, Dorinda?
I am fine,
Good morning.
Jesus.
Good to have you here
Thank you.
today. Thanks for coming.
Good.
So you're a member of the vestry, right?
Yes.
Good. You just started, right?
Pardon?
You just started, right?
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
January.
Good, good. You started with us here. It's been
Yeah.
an interesting year.
Yes, very.
So tell me a little bit about how you came to Holy Trinity. How long was that?
It was a while ago. I was married here back in 1969.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, and I always, we actually were members of St. Martha's in the beginning
Okay.
when I was growing up, but my mother had a falling out with the priest at that time in the mid-60s, so she decided to come to Holy Trinity, and it was right down the street from our home, so why not?
So you were married here. It is a beautiful church in Indy. You were married here. That's wonderful. That's
Yes,
wonderful.
I love this church. And since I've become a member, this church is a small church. It's not a large congregation, but it is a loving and giving congregation. Everybody helps everybody else out. They know each other, and it's a nice community. It's like a family. I feel very close to everyone here, and I feel like this is my church family. You know, I have my personal family, of course, but I also have, this is my church family. So their problems are my problems, and my problems are their problems.
Indeed, I know what you mean. I know. I feel the same way. I know. So tell us a little bit about this. I love this pledge that we're doing this year. You know, with generosity and faith. And what does that mean to you? And what do you think we can do with it, being part of the vestry and of this church family we are? Tell us about that.
Well, generosity, I feel that comes from our souls. God is the one who gives us those directions and tells us that, you know, the more you can give, the more I give back. And I've seen it. I mean, every time I give, even when it's hard to give, I always find I reap the rewards for it. So, so the more you can give, I know not everybody can give as much as they would like to because of the pandemic and family obligations, but the more you can give, the better your rewards will be, the more rewards you'll receive from God. And you know, I think with the rewards, with the donations that we get, we could do more things for the church, for the community, for ourselves, and that if we can improve things, we can maybe get more people in here, you know. I was shocked to hear how many people were actually virtually online listening to our services. And if we could somehow, I know Harry's working on the website,
Yes,
and the video media, and if we can get even a quarter of those people that are virtually watching us to contribute to our church, our budget, our money situation would improve immensely.
Right.
So I think we need to reach out more to those people too, that they can also be members of the church virtually. They don't have to be here in person to worship.
Agreed. I agree. That's why I do what I do too, out of my heart, because I know that it's reaching people, even people back home tell me in Europe they watch us.
Yeah.
So, and I agree. I'll make sure I also stress that. Dorinda, thank you so much for your time, for coming here today. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. No problem. And have a blessed day.
You too.